Hey everyone, welcome back. Day 15, Shanghai. Now, Shanghai is an amazing city. I've been there many, many times. It's one of the most modern cities of all of Japan. Very chic, very upscale. A lot of heavy Western influences here. Some people say too much. But if you go to old Shanghai, and that's where we went, the old town, the original part, a couple hundred years ago, it's like stepping back in time. And one of the places we went there was this beautiful garden and atrium area that this gentleman had created. And one of the unique things about this area was that every doorway was unique. And he's very artistic in the way he built this whole garden pavilion area out. And we walked around. It was just fascinating to see it. Lots of great rock gardens, lots of great beautiful bonsais, beautiful houses and structures, a dragon on top of the walls. Lots of really interesting things from an architectural standpoint, as well as just aesthetically. Very beautiful bonsais everywhere, koi ponds everywhere. It was just a fabulous place. And this was a place where he would write books and look out over his plants and look out over his atrium area. It was great. And then we walked further into town and we looked around. And now remember, this is all set as that financial district set in the background. So it's a beautiful area, high spot in Shanghai. And this is another gentleman's home that was not quite as wealthy as the first one. That's a shoe cobbler's mobile station and another handyman's mobile station. And we went into this house and it was just beautiful as well. You really got to feel what it would have been like a couple hundred years ago. And I noticed as I walked around the town, the Chinese are developing their own brands. Just like Nike, they have brands now that are Chinese. Now, this is the original meeting place for the 13 delegates of the Communist Party, and Mao actually met in this house, 13 of them sitting around a table, and then they got a knock on the door from a policeman because they were kind of wondering what was going on, and it was a secret meeting. They answered the door, and they fled, and they had the meeting on this boat about 70 miles or 70 kilometers away, and this is the actual table that they met at. This is the door that they knocked on. And then just to go back in time and be part of this historical moment is pretty significant. I'm not a fan of the Communist Party or anything, but it was interesting to be in a place of this historical importance. So needless to say, this was a fascinating part of history, and it all started in Shanghai. We continue to walk around the British area, the French area. Every nationality had a specific area in Shanghai that they developed and brought out. And as we walked around this area, we could see some of the original architecture that they developed. We saw this cool little thin kitchen in this area. We saw a wedding going on. Just a beautiful area, tree-lined streets, very, very nice. I stopped and got some fruit. My favorite thing, going to fruit markets all the time. It's always a lot of fun. And then we went to the Shanghai Museum. Now this was extraordinary. It's about 7 floors, covered all of Chinese history. Now, the Chinese history is profound. The Chinese had a huge impact on society and culture in general. I mean, their culture is thousands of years old, and they've had things from all different parts of their civilization throughout time. And so I walked every floor and literally took videos of everything because it was so interesting, and it was beautiful actually. The craftsmanship, the attention to detail. You know, so many cultures have been influenced by the Chinese culture, and we know the Silk Road, they had a lot of influence on other parts of Europe, as well as Europe had influence on them, and we saw it in both the way they made furniture, their paintings, and everything they did. But it was a fascinating time. I love this museum. I go back in a second. Then I went to Luckin Coffee. Most people have not heard of this. They have 2,000 stores already in China, and they're giving Starbucks a run for their money. Cashless again, everything is done with an app. You have to download the app to buy the coffee. The coffee's half the price. I got one, it was really good, pretty surprising. Then we walked around another area that's very famous for shopping, and then we went over to the Bund, and the Bund is a walkway along the water where they have lots of interesting things, and I caught these girls taking this picture holding onto the bowls. What are you girls, what are you doing? Come on. Stop being so silly. Anyways, so the Bund is a beautiful area, and it looks over at the financial district, and of course Shanghai Tower, 127 stories tall. We went over there. They had electric cars from the Chinese in the bottom that are giving Tesla a run for their money, and these cars were stunningly beautiful. My gosh, the architecture over in this area was crazy. I had to go up to Shanghai Tower. I've been up some of the highest buildings in the world, including the one in Dubai, the Burj Khalifa, but I had to go up to the top of this one, and this is a representation of how much Shanghai has grown, coming from a small fishing village to this mega city, one of the most incredible cities, frankly, in the world. We got on the elevator. The elevator is the fastest in the world, all the way up to 117 floors approximately in under 50 seconds. Pretty remarkable, the speed in which we traveled. And when we got to the top and we saw the view, oh my, it was just too much. Just incredible what it's like looking out over a skyline that has buildings that are over 100 stories high, and you're looking down on them. It's hard to even comprehend what that would be like, but Shanghai has a beautiful skyline, and it was a little hazy, but really the weather was spectacular when we were there. It was about 80 degrees, warm, beautiful, and this building is like 108 stories high, and we're looking down on it. Isn't that just incredible? And the architecture here in Shanghai is crazy. So that was day 15. We had a fabulous time. Can't wait to go back, but we have one more day, day 16. We'll see you tomorrow.